Welcome back to day two of the 100 Days of Learning Adobe Illustrator. That's where we stopped from previous lesson. Now, in today's class, we'll be learning all about the shapes in Adobe Illustrator, and we'll be using these shapes to create icons. We'll start from the Instagram icon, then the message icon, and then we can move forward from there. Let's get started. I'm just going to zoom out. So let me duplicate this artboard. To duplicate an artboard, select your artboard tool. You can move the artboard. This is your artboard tool here. This is your artboard tool. So with your artboard tool selected, you can move your artboard. Is this white thing anywhere? I want to duplicate it. To duplicate your artboard or any other thing on Adobe Illustrator, the shortcut is to hold down Alt on your keyboard, then left click and drag. Or if you're using a MacBook, you hold down the Command key on your keyboard, then left click or just click and drag. So I'm going to delete this and zoom in. Now, so I want us to be using so now let's get started. So we'll be using shapes to build first of all the Instagram icon. So this is our shape. This is where our different shapes are. Can you see clearly? Yes. So to expand this, you right click on your keyboard or if you're using a mouse, you right click and it will bring out these different shapes. So we'll be using our rectangle tool. With that selected, click and drag, holding down the shift key on your keyboard, right? So to create a perfect square, you hold down your shift key on your keyboard, just click and drag. Now it loaded our previous color, but I want to change this to black. I'm just going to come to my swatches panel here like we learned yesterday and change it to black. If you've not seen the previous video, you can go back to our previous day one and check it out. This is a build up of what we've already learned this class. Okay, so this has a black fill. Then I want to make it a black stroke instead of a black fill. You can just come to this side here, right? Can you see clearly? Just click on it. Now the black fill has switched with the black stroke. Alright, so this is our stroke. So to add the width of your stroke, you come here, and just add the width. Okay, I think 10 is okay. I think it's visible. Okay, so we have our squared shape. So we are building an Instagram icon. We have our squared shape ready to use. Okay, so from yesterday's class, from day one, we learned how to curve corners, right? So I want us to curve the corners equally. So what you will do is hover over any point, then left click and drag, right? So we are curving it just like how Instagram icon is, like that. So now we have a perfect square with rounded corners. So our Instagram icon has a circle in it. So let's draw in our circle. So let's go back to our shapes. Just right click, grab your ellipse tool. Then you just need to click and drag, holding down shift to create a perfect circle. Now this is our circle. Then grab back your selection tool because you can't move this thing with this circle tool still selected. So you have to grab back on your selection tool so you can move it, right? So I want you to move it to the center, but then you can't really tell if this is actually in the center or your eyes is playing a trick on you. So to ensure that everything is aligned perfectly, highlight everything with your selection tool, right? If you can remember, we said the selection tool is used to select items. So my selection tool is selected. So I'm just going to highlight, click and highlight on it. Then can you see here on your upward panel, you see icons. This is called the alignment tools. If your interface, right, is not like mine, just go to window, okay, click on windows, right, then go to workspace and click on essential classics. I'm using essential classics. So click on essential classes and your workspace will be like mine. So let's start again. So select both shapes, then you come here, you see it here. But if you can't see it here, the properties panel is there for you. So any element you select will load its property in the properties panel. So all you need to do now is to scroll down, right? You see the properties here. This is the stroke, this is the opacity. You can decrease the opacity, but this is what we are looking for, align, right? If you can't find it on the top, right, you always find it in your properties panel. So just you can expand it to show more. I want us to align it to the center. Can you see horizontal align center? And then we want to do vertical align center. So everything is perfectly aligned to the middle, right? So here we have it. So let me just zoom in so we can all see it clearly. So you can see it clearly. So now there's this dot here for Instagram icon. So let's grab our circle as well. And let's draw in our dot here like that. So let's change this to a fill color and not a stroke. So grab your selection to move it. Let's arrange it here, then here. Just click on this to switch to a black fill, or you come to your um um watch here and change it to a black fill. Then we will remove the stroke. So this is it. We have our Instagram icon set for use. We can increase the stroke. Let's see. Okay, this is 13. So we have our Instagram icon set for use. Now let's create another icon. So we're using this to learn how to use shapes in Adobe Illustrator. So I'm just going to, so let's create our arrow. What's the word? Selection arrow. Go back to your shapes tool, right click and expand it. Grab your star tool here, click on it. Then to draw out a star, same way, click and drag. But that's not, it's not, we're not drawing a star, we want a triangle, right? So you hold down the downward arrow on your keyboard, click on it. The downward arrow is to reduce the angles, the upward arrow is to increase the angles. So you click on the downward arrow to reduce the angles, and you have your triangle, right? So if this is a triangle, grab your selection tool. The shortcut for your selection tool is the letter V on your keyboard. So just click on the letter V on your keyboard and selection tool will be grabbed for you automatically. So we've drawn our rectangle. Now we want to curve this here, right? Um now we want to add a curve in this middle, right? So let's grab our um direct selection tool. Let's see if it will work. Grab your direct selection tool. If you can remember, we use our direct selection tool to manipulate anchor point. So click on this anchor point and move it up. I see. So now we're bringing the knowledge we've learned from the day one and adding it to our project here. So we've successfully curved or added an angle to this middle. Now I want us to add a stroke here, a line. So this is your line tool here. Grab your line tool here. Can you see it? Yes, this is your line tool. So grab your line tool, and from this middle, click and drag. Right? If you want to drag in let's say 180 degrees or 145 degrees. Hold down shift like that. I'm holding down shift now. So it's dragging perfectly. But I want to drag it down here. I'm not holding down shift, just click and let go. And now we have um, our arrow, our arrow selection tool. Now we've successfully created our arrow selection tool. So let's create one more. Let's create one more. Now let's create a messenger message icon. So click on this shapes tool and select your rectangle. Just click and drag to draw your rectangle. Right. So yeah, we've drawn our rectangle for our message icon. Then let's draw out our line. Let's grab our line to click and drag. Let's see. Click and drag and let go. Then let's duplicate this. Can you remember how to duplicate? Yes, hold down Alt, click and drag. Right. So with this selected, I want it to be in place. So what I'm going to do is to copy Control C the same way, just like you copy anything on your laptop. Control C to copy, then Control F, letter F for food or fish. So Control F to paste in place. So now we've duplicated this and pasted it on the same spot. So I want to rotate it to the side. So come to your properties panel here, scroll up, right? You see this here called flip horizontal. So that's what I want to do. So I'm flipping horizontal, right? So I've clicked it. Can you see it? It has flipped it to the other direction horizontally. So I'm just going to move it to this side. Okay, let me zoom it for us so you can see it clearly. So let's move it here. Okay, so this is okay. So select everything, select everything. To deselect, I want to deselect this. So hold down shift and click to deselect. So we have this only. So now let us group it, right? So to group any element on Adobe Illustrator, just click on Ctrl G to group. On group, you click on Ctrl Shift G to on group, or you right click and click on group or on group, right? So yeah, that's how you group on Adobe Illustrator. So I'm just going to align this foot to the center, right? So horizontal align center, and there you have it. You can take off our message icon a little bit, and this looks a bit sharp, so I want the stroke to have rounded edges. Well, I think it's okay. Okay, sorry, let's curve it. Looking too sharp, looking somehow. So let's curve it. To curve any stroke, right? Like a line stroke, you come to stroke here, click on the stroke panel, click on it. You see this here cap. So I want to add a rounded cap. Can you see? So added a rounded cap. But can you see this protrusion? I don't want this protrusion. All right, so I don't want this protrusion. So I'm just going to ungroup it, right? And try to align it, arrange it, not align. So this is one way you can create your icons. So I'm grouping it back, right click, group, align it to the middle. So successfully use shapes to create different icons on Adobe Illustrator. Okay, let's add one more. I really don't want this tutorial to be too long, but let's see. So now let's add one more icon, a home icon, like a home, like a house icon. So grab your shapes tool and right click, left click rather, just click and drag holding down the shift key for a perfect square, then leave it. Right, so let's move this up. Okay, so I want to add um a triangle on top of the house to form our house. So let's grab our triangle. I'll start to draw a triangle. Click, let's click and drag. So we have our triangle. If you're showing triangle, probably is a star. You use the downward arrow to create your triangle. So this is our triangle. Just release it. Let's bring it down to form a house. So now this is a bit too, it's looking a bit too tall. So I'm just going to distort it a bit. So let me zoom it. Right. This is not best practice, but let's see. So with this highlighted, right? Like this, can you see this width, right? So I'm just going to hold down Alt to, okay, without holding down. All right, this is not going as I expected. Okay, Control Z. Let's see. Okay, this is not working. Okay, so what I'm going to do is to grab our direct selection tool to move from the anchor point, right? To expand it. So grab your direct selection tool, click on this anchor point, right? Then let's shift it to the side. Hold down shift and shift it to the right, the left rather. Then hold down this shift, shift it to the left. So why I'm holding down shift is so I can do it in multiples of 10. So this is not as expected, but let's see. Okay, that means we have to move this anchor point. This is not perfect. Okay, this is not helping. But yeah, so this is how you can use shapes to build your icon. So we've learned, let me delete this. So we've learned how to use different shapes in Adobe Illustrator. You can use these shapes to do different things. It's as easy and as direct as it is, right? All right. See you in day 3 of learning Adobe Illustrator.